pretty much every piece of valuable self-improvement advice is really, really hard to implement, right? It's real easy for someone like me to get up here and tell you the things that you should be doing with your life. It's easy to both give and receive self-improvement advice, but it's another thing to actually turn it into a reality, right? So in this video, I'm going to share, 5 really, really valuable pieces of advice that, are easy for me to say, but are still going to be difficult for you to implement. And these are things that you're going to have to deal with in your life that are going to be difficult to implement no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many podcasts you listen to, no matter how many books you read, right? So these things can help, but ultimately it has to come down to you, looking in the mirror and actually figuring out a way to do it. Before we get to that, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the little notification bell. The notification bell is very important. If you're watching this video on any other platform, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc., use the tools on that platform to share with all your friends or anyone who might benefit from the video. All right, the first one is it's a piece of advice. It's kind of the central piece of advice in self-improvement. And there's even a quote from Naval Ravikant. He says, "Pretty much all self-help can be boiled down to the phrase delay gratification." Right? So delayed gratification is the key to getting anything you want that's going to be of merit in your life. If you want to get in really, really good shape, it's going to take a long time. If you want to build a business, it's going to take a long time. If you want to find your purpose, it's going to take some navigation. It's ultimately going to take you a long time. You want to invest your money and see it grow, you're going to have to put it in the bank account and sit there and wait for years and decades for it to grow, right? So anytime you're looking at anybody who is above and beyond successful in whatever industry or arena you think of, you're looking at someone who has put years and years of experience into that, right? So I like to use myself in this example. I'm on the way of, next February, I will be on year number 7 of working on my writing, right? So that's a lot of delayed gratification to get to that point. Starting way back then with no fans, no income, no audience, no hope, no network, no resources, nothing. But I put in the work, delayed gratification to get to that point. And really the only real benefit, or the only real technique that's going to be useful for you to be able to do the actions right now is to think about who you want to be in the future and just really get into the habit of thinking about what your life is going to look like day in and day out if you continue to avoid delaying your gratification and you continue to focus only on what's right now. The next valuable piece of advice is that if you want to change your life, if you want to change the way you relate to the world, you're going to have to figure out some way to change your perception, right? So what is your perception? Your perception is, it's a narrative that you tell yourself about the world. It's a narrative you tell yourself about yourself. And it's pretty much a narrative you tell yourself about reality based on the experiences you've had and the interpretation of those experiences. So you have your upbringing, you have the things you experience on a day-to-day basis, you have the information that you consume. If you look at the way that a lot of people argue and bicker over politics stuff in the media, you can tell that people have narratives kind of deeply driven into their brain that they don't want to give up. And if you have a certain perception of the way the world works and of the way that you see yourself, everything that happens is going to converge to meet that perception. And it's not even going as deep as talking about vibes and speaking things into existence and all this metaphysical woo-woo stuff. It's literally that if you believe certain things, your behaviors are going to line up to match your perceptions, which is going to cause your perceptions to come true, right? So if you don't think that hard work is going to lead to success, then you're just not going to work hard, and then you're not going to get what you want. So the way that you act always converges to your perception, and a lot of the times for a lot of people, what you need to understand is that it's sometimes not even really on a conscious level, right? So I have an exercise in one of my books where I have you go through and actually think about and write down what you actually believe. Write down some of these scripts in your mind that might be dictating your behavior. Ask yourself why you believe those things. Ask yourself whether or not those things are true. Ask yourself if those narratives are helping you to get what you want, right? So for me, I try less to think about, whether or not I'm right, whether or not my beliefs are correct. I try to think about whether or not my beliefs are useful. Like, is feeling a certain way going to help me get what I want? Next piece of really valuable advice is to sometimes to get to somewhere better in your life, you're gonna have to let go of something that you already have. And as a human being, you're wired to not want to let go, right? You're wired to hold on to whatever you have because oftentimes, like, your fear of loss, outweighs the good feelings that you might have from getting the goals that you want in the future, right? So a lot of people stay stuck in situations, not even because the situations are good. How many people do you know that are in relationships that they don't want to be in? How many people do you they don't want to be together? How many people are in jobs they don't want to be in those jobs? How many people are stuck through the motions, stuck in the wrong town, stuck in the same situation, but they just won't let go? And it's hard to let go because you've spent so much time building whatever it is that you have right now. And it's really scary to have to let go of all that. So even if you're there's certain things about you, what you believe about yourself and your personality that you want to let go of. Those labels that you give yourself, right? So, letting go is usually the bridge to something better. And it is one of the number one things that people are afraid of. But what you need to understand is that, uncertainty is something that gives you the only space for you to actually change, right? You're not going to be able to change and improve your life coming from all the same paradigms and the same situations that you were in before. So it is only in that chaotic kind of fish out of water, don't exactly know what you're doing, stage of your life that you can actually build anything, right? So it's like, if you want to build a bigger building on top of the land you already have, you're going to have to crash and burn the other one down or destroy the other one, take a wrecking ball to the old one, right? And we don't want to do that because there's a lot of different things that are attached to our identity, especially some of those things I mentioned, career, relationships, identities you built over time. That stuff is really hard to let go of. But ultimately, it's the only way. The next valuable piece of advice, which is kind of like it's kind of like a corny, cliche piece of advice from self-improvement, but it's like, just be more confident, right? You have self-doubts about following your dreams. Just be more confident, right? Like you haven't tried that already. Confidence is a tricky thing, right? It's kind of a catch-22 scenario, right? You get confidence from competence. So you feel confident about things that you're good at, things that you have been through already. So how do you go then and build confidence in a new area if you haven't yet built the competence to feel that way, right? So that's where that kind of that faking it till you make it, thing comes in, right? And when it comes to faking it till you make it, I used to have kind of a different philosophy of it, but these days when I think about the idea of faking it till you make it, I don't necessarily even look at it as fake, right? So if you've been living a way that you don't want to live for a while, if you've been compromising your goals, if you have been, below your potential and not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, what's so real about that? Why is the person who doubts themselves the real version of you? That seems superficial and fake to me, to not go forth and do the things that you really want to do. So which one really is fake? Which one is the pretender? Why is taking a level of action you're unaccustomed to and displaying a level of belief in yourself that you're unaccustomed to, why does that have to be fake? I think the other things are fake. I think kind of burying your head in the sand and living the rest of your life in this hole of mediocrity because you're scared to fail, I think that's fake. So yeah, building confidence, it takes time, right? I deal with a lot of writers. They're like, oh, I'm not very good, I need to build confidence to write. I was like, no, you need to write to build confidence. And to do that, you have to take whatever like minimum tiny viable amount of energy that you have and put it forward. And the last one is to be authentic with yourself Be authentic about what you want and really go live the life of your dreams. Again, super easy for someone like me to say, an entirely different thing to do. So how do you get there? Well, first you have to stop lying to yourself about what you want. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people get caught up with. They have a lot of guilt and shame about going after the things that they want in life. They feel like they should shrink to make others feel better. They want to pretend that they're someone that they're not so that they can fit in with other people. And they predicate and base their dreams off of what other people think. And in order to remedy this, you have to understand at the end of the day, you're always going to have to be you. You're going to, no matter what the outside world thinks of you, no matter what you try to portray, no matter how well you try to blend in, but you really have a burning fire inside of you to do something else, you're going to know that. And it's going to stick with you no matter how much you try to push it down. So, being authentic simply means honoring what you want. And what you want can be a combination of many different things. It can be a combination of really beautiful, meaningful, purposeful desires, and it can be some petty desires. It can be a chip on your shoulder. It can be that you feel like you have something to show people. It can be that you want to be successful, that you want attention, that you want material success, that you want to win in the real world. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'd make an argument that there is a spiritual element to going out there in the real world and achieving some of those metrics. So, at the end of the day, it's just about avoiding lying to yourself. Brutal, honest self-assessment and being true to yourself about what you want is something that's really, really key. This book right here will help you with all of the above. I've had so many people reach out to me and say, Io, this book needs to be in the hands of more people. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Why aren't you pushing it more? Well, I am pushing it more now. So real help and honest guide to self-improvement, especially if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, make sure that you go in the description and buy that right now so you can start making positive momentum in your life. Check out all the other links in the description on YouTube. Everything will be posted on social media everywhere. I'll be putting out a lot more content very shortly. I had a lot of fun on this one, and I will see you on the next video.